Welcome to our Change program. Today, our host Barney is not here, vacationing somewhere in United States of America. I am hosting today. So please welcome our new panel today, and we are going to discuss so many wonderful things for you, and you will enjoy that. I would like to introduce to you our panel. We have here, your name please.
Lucinda Flowden.
Sarah Rose Denisi.
Lucinda, tell me what you do, what is your interest in this subject today? That subject is?
Well, I've been a student of yoga for and studied with a teacher for about 12 years, and also have a teaching degree in yoga, or a certificate. I'm authorized to teach, and so I teach yoga, and one of the places that I teach yoga is as part of the Healthy You program for village employees.
Wonderful. Welcome you.
Thank you.
And Sarah, how about you? What is your experience in yoga?
My experience in yoga is much more amateur as compared to my colleague here, but my interest is mainly in mindfulness meditation. And I'm a predoctoral intern at the Village of Hoffman Estates, and there I use mindfulness meditation in therapy and working with individuals, and I personally use mindfulness meditation in my own life.
Do you have any your personal experience when you got interested in this yoga or peaceful mindness? What is your experience on that?
The first time that I became interested in yoga in particular was whenever I was in undergrad. I was on campus for a summer, and all the other students had gone home, and so I was really looking for something productive to do with my time while I was there, and I picked up a book on yoga, and that's when I began to understand yoga, look at the postures, look at the form, and practice in my living room. And I have to tell you, learning yoga from a book is extra difficult, but that was what really opened my eyes to more mindfulness forms of practices. Whenever I went to graduate school, my first year I had a professor who had me read some materials on mindfulness and meditation and how that can be used to help people with mood and anxiety disorders. This really heightened my interest in it, and then from there I started practicing myself and introducing it to clients that I work with.
Lucinda, what do you think about how you got interested in, because you have interest in storyteller, you came to Barn, we have big program that time,
Yes, that was a great time.
And you are head of this foundation of Prairie Center.
Yoga for me had everything to do with my personal life. This is a personal journey. It was not, it was about my job, but not about my job at all. For me, it was a decision. I used to do yoga when I was really young. Yoga was really easy. It was all about, when I was in my 20s, the asanas, the poses, and they were so simple. But as I've grown older and as I've reached the middle part of my life, I realized that there was something very, very significantly important to me personally, and I think to everyone as they age, which is the keeping of mobility, flexibility, and in this stressful world, the ability to relax.
Okay, they say the yoga is the exercise of body, mind, and soul. What is your experience on that? How you define that? Yes, it is, when I do yoga, it is exercise for body, mind, and soul. How you define that?
Well, I would define it. There's all kinds of yoga. You can do yoga that's just about the asanas, the postures.
Right.
That's called hatha yoga, and it's doing the positions for the position's sake. That isn't the kind of yoga I do. I do traditional yoga, and it is part, which is Raja Yoga, which is part of Ashtanga, the Eightfold Path. It's a very, very, very old form of yoga, and it's for everybody. It's not for people who are super athletes, and it's a mix of breath, meditation, and movement. And so for me, I don't do quick yoga. And there's all kinds of newfangled yogas that are out there these days that are very, very different than what I do or what I would certainly recommend to anybody who's aging. And we're all aging.
But I don't think yoga is quick yoga, like a commercial break yoga. When it's a commercial break and I'm doing yoga, yoga needs, time.
Exactly. It
And
does
then-
need time. I don't think that it should be done in a steam room or
Right.
a sauna.
Right.
Because to me, that's putting yourself into real extremes in order to do something that really is focused on helping you center and relax and move with breath.
Correct.
I think breath is hugely important.
It is. And how about you, Sarah Rose? What is your take on that? It's
Mindfulness meditation can be a part of the Eightfold Path as well. That was already mentioned earlier. So with mindfulness meditation, the original form of meditation can be traced back to the Buddha about 2,500 years ago. And so mindfulness meditation is actually, some people compare it to a way of exercising the brain. So as you would use yoga to exercise the body, this is a way of strengthening the brain as well. So what I might mean by that, if you look at the brain and what it does naturally, the unconditioned brain has a tendency to do one of two things, one of which is to project itself into the future. And so if you study the brain, you might find that the mind is constantly thinking about, what am I going to do in the future? How am I going to pay that bill? How might this work out? What am I going to do? Worry, 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 planning, planning, planning. On the other end of that, the mind can also take us back to rumination of the past. With that, it's thinking about, oh, I did that wrong, maybe I should have done this differently, or just conjuring up all those memories, which sometimes can be pleasant, sometimes can be painful. But what the mind, interestingly enough, has a very difficult time doing is staying focused on the present moment. Being in the here, being in the now. So when we use something like mindfulness meditation or even yoga that encompasses the mind, what it does is it trains and exercises our brain to stay present in the moment. And it has so many benefits to actually being here, because the moment right now, that's all that we have. We can't do anything about the past. The future is yet to unfold. So it's a way of exercising and strengthening the brain. That way you can be more powerful and potent in your life.
So yoga brings us, or meditation bring us to combine our body, mind towards peace. In all this hustle and bustle, we need to make time to do that.
Yes, and that can be the trickiest part, is making the time. Making the time to sit down and actually have a yoga practice or have a meditation practice.
Okay, then please advise me how I can make time. What is the secret there? What is the tip on that?
I think one way of approaching it is, sometimes people think about building yoga or meditation into their schedule. I actually say build your schedule around it. Make it your priority and fit everything else around it. Because if you know and understand the benefits, you're going to put it at the top of the list and know that in order to carry throughout your day and reap those benefits, that you need it built in. I think that would be one of the most important things, is making it priority.
All of those benefits help you to do all those other things better, because they help you to focus, to center, to stay here, be here now, basically.
We will come back and we will bring more discussion on that, how we can make time. That is the main question here, how we can make time, because generally we say, oh my God, we don't have no time. And we were talking about how we can make time and what are the tips on that. So, Sarah, please let me know how we can make time.
I think time, and some people often ask, when is the best time to
Correct.
meditate? And so sometimes people get fixed on the idea of, I should do it in the morning, I should do it at night. And really this is all based on the individual, whatever works best for you. Some people feel that if they don't do it in the morning, then they won't get it done throughout the day. Again, the emphasis on building it in, putting it in, and making sure that you get to it. For other people, they do find that maybe taking just a few, maybe even 15 minutes off of their lunch hour to build in meditation. You can find different times throughout your day. And meditation doesn't necessarily have to look like just sitting and doing it. There's other forms of meditation which include walking meditation. So for some people, they may even pick a particular hallway in a building that they frequently maybe even work in, and they tell themselves, whenever I hit this hallway or this corridor, I'm going to walk mindfully. So there's part of your formal practice, which is actually building in the moment where you sit down and you do it. And there's also your informal practice, which is on a whim. You could actually slow down and take the time to wash your hands and actually fully experience all the sensation of washing your hands, the water, the suds, the scents, everything else that goes in with the soap and washing. So first of all, making it a priority, and not to forget the informal types of meditation.
Lucinda, you do, I heard at lunchtime, and so many our colleagues are coming here. What is your experience on that? Is the lunchtime yoga, it's enough time, or
Well,
what they take back from you?
I think that what time you take is enough time.
It is
do
good,
yoga
yeah.
for a long time. You can do it for a short time. It's what you do. It's how you focus it. We do lunchtime classes because that's a time that we have.
Right.
I mean, everyone at the village takes lunch. So I do 2 classes a week, one for the people that have lunch at 12 o'clock and one for the people that have lunch at 1 o'clock. And we don't take the whole hour, certainly, to do yoga, although we do between 30 and 40 minutes, so that people still have time, without getting stressed out, to go and get something to eat and before they go back to their job. But I find everybody leaves. I think it allows employees to let go of the morning, let go of the stresses of the day that have built, and go back relaxed and ready to work again, but with more relaxation and a little less stress.
Okay, I have some confusion here. Please forgive me for that. You are surrounded in workplace, okay, and environment is, I have to go to work. I have only 5 more minutes. So then clock is ticking on you. How I can meditate in that kind of atmosphere or that kind of environment? How you can help us?
Well, when we come to yoga, we do the yoga first. We begin with relaxation, and then we do postures, asanas, and so there's time so the yoga itself is deeply relaxing and meditative. And then everybody gets up and makes that transition back to their workplace.
Mindset.
To their other mindset. But if you can let go of that busy mind that we all work like this, even for 15 or 20 minutes a day, it's like you've done it for 5 hours. It clears the path to go back to the work at hand, but with a little bit different and better focus.
Wow. They said the yoga is inner cleansing, inner healing. How we know that it is inner healing? Sarah?
Well, there are hundreds of benefits that have now been recorded that come with meditation and other mindfulness practices. And there's so many that I couldn't even name all of them, but there have been scientific studies that have shown that it actually helps us to heal in a physical way in addition to a psychological way. For example, there's been a recent study that was done that actually showed that patients who adopted a regular mindfulness meditation practice reduced their risk of stroke and heart attack in half, as compared to those patients who were only given information and literature on healthy lifestyle. The same study also showed that those who adopted the mindfulness and meditation practice also decreased their blood pressure significantly. So this is an immensely healing and powerful effect. There's also been another study that has shown that those individuals who had at least 3 episodes of depression or more when they adopted a regular mindfulness and meditation practice, they also cut their risk of having another episode of depression, major depression, in half. And this, I think, is hugely powerful. And so we're seeing that mindfulness, meditation, yoga, all of these things can be vastly helpful for us in improving our physical and our mental health.
You have the same experience, Lucinda?
Yes. And I think, too, that I don't think that you necessarily have to grab a big chunk of time to make a difference. We talk a lot, well, occasionally during yoga class when we're not just doing, about little things you can do when you're, whatever you're working on, and and the stress starts to build, and your back starts to hurt because you've been sitting at your desk for seemingly a year and a half, even though it's been longer than it should have been, perhaps, of just taking a moment or two to stretch your back a little bit and to breathe. And the breathing is essential because as you breathe, you let the stress back, you let the stress out.
Generally, when you watch TV, the yoga and all this meditation exercise, either they are by the beach or some, very glorious garden. You think for that we need that kind of environment, or we need those kind of equipment so yoga can look good or you can look good? What is the situation is there?
We do yoga in this room, which I know everyone can't see the whole of the room, but it's a big box studio space. The reason we do it here is because people have room to put their mats down and don't knock into each other. You can do yoga anywhere. You can meditate anywhere. My personal favorite place is when I'm flying anywhere. I always have time that I just bring it back into myself because there's so much energy out there. And it just helps me to let it be about me and remember to breathe and just let my mind relax. Because if my mind relaxed, I'm not stressed.
There any other tip that, because as you know, I work with the seniors, and there are so many anxieties, so many fear, and so many things are there. When we are trying to do, you came in there for practicing, when we come for that, it is always, darn it, I forgot that. Darn it, it is hurting, So those darn, how we can, work on that, especially keeping mind in our mind, seniors, how we can help them.
I think there's a certain level of mindfulness meditation that it isn't only sustaining focus and attention on your breath or an anchor, but what is really, really important to that is bringing an attitude of acceptance. And I think whenever you're having a moment of, darn it, this hurts, or I forgot this, or this isn't going well, or I'm really anxious about this, or I'm worried about my health and all these things, there's a certain level of acceptance that you can bring, and it's an attitude, it's a way of sitting and being with what is. And a lot of times we push against what is, and that actually causes more suffering than we're often even aware of. And so mindfulness meditation teaches us, and it's just an extreme practice of sitting with complete acceptance. I would almost describe it as a Chinese finger trap.
We will come back and talk to you again on how we can prepare ourselves for yoga and meditation. Sarah, please tell me, when you come for prepare your class for yoga, how you prepare yourself?
How I prepare myself is, I think, an essential part of being able to teach is actually fully participating in the practice myself. So that means keeping up my own mindfulness and meditation practice and making sure that I am fully present with those, whoever I am working with. So there really isn't a whole lot of preparation that goes into it. It's more of allowing myself to get into the mindset which sometimes isn't easy. Of course, you're busy. Maybe I've just come into the center and I've had a whole caseload that I've already done and my mind is swarming. So it's actually fully using the practice, taking a deep breath and saying, here I am, and allowing myself to be fully present in the moment.
So practice and preaching
Yes.
must go together.
Yes.
What do you think?
Oh, I agree. I think that you have to practice what you're going to teach, and so you bring yourself to the space. In what, for me, it's usually just being there a moment to be able to let my mind relax and to breathe, and just because I don't know what the class is going to be, even though I'm teaching it, until everybody gets there.
Yeah, we don't know their level, you know.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, and importantly, in terms of it's important for people to work, especially as they age, within their comfort zones. This is not the time to go out and think you're going to, I mean, I know when we talk about what people think what yoga is, and they say, oh, we're going to make ourselves into little pretzels. Well, you know, you're not going to make yourself into a pretzel, because I'm never going to do that. I'm not at that age. What I'm going to do is help my body where it is right now have better balance and have better flexibility. And I've seen amazing things with seniors. Amazing.
Such as?
We taught a class this summer, an 8-week Fit for Life class at Bartlett Senior Center. And so we did some of those measuring backs and things like that. But what I saw over the 8 weeks of the class is that every single person in that class was steadier on their feet than the first day they came in. A lot of people were very uncomfortable with the idea of getting down on the floor. And we said, it doesn't matter. You can do this in your chair. You need to be where you are at your comfort level. We found that by halfway through the class, almost everybody was down on the floor, but those that weren't knew that they were supposed to be in chairs, and it worked really well for them. And everything can be adapted to what you really should be. I think it's important to have a good teacher and someone that...
The key word is adoption.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you have to adopt if you have faith in that. And generally they say that meditation, yoga, it's an alternate for our, allopathy too, in medicine. If we avoid that, we can heal ourselves with this meditation and with yoga. Remember in your class that day John was telling you how this practice is helping him, and doctor was surprised how you are doing this, So
Yes, that was an amazing example of somebody who had taken the mindfulness and meditation course with me at the senior center, and he came in and explained that after he had left the course where we'd done deep breathing and meditation, he had a physician's visit, and his blood pressure had been lowered by 16 points just by leaving the meditation. So that is an immediate and tangible effect of how beneficial meditation and mindfulness practices can be for the body.
No, that was, I experienced myself also, because when I went for all this pain and everything, and doctor was determined, the surgeon, that I have to have in 15 days my surgery. And mentally I was not ready for the surgery thing, So now focusing on this meditation, yoga, and after a month when I went again, and he said, he was so surprised to see that, what you are doing, do that. And I will see you after a year, we'll see that, how MRI will do again, because first MRI is totally like a hell. Second MRI, nothing is there, So this magic, really, it's your faith, I believe, how you determine and how you can believe in that.
Sure. I think most people have healing experiences through their own belief system of what will work for them. And for some people, that's allopathic surgery, break and fix, and for other people it isn't. And
it's all your belief.
What you believe in makes a huge difference as to what kind of outcomes you have.
And because when you are having a doubts, nothing will work that time or ever. Because doubtful mind is not staying anywhere. and you cannot get anywhere you want to go. And if you think like a commercials, I can get this, I can get that, I can get that, life is not like a commercial. Yeah, we have to work around and do things. One more thing I need to ask you, that when we do yoga or meditation, you need to have empty stomach, not to eat anything, or you want to have full belly and then you are doing yoga. Which way is the best time?
Somewhere between, but definitely on the emptier side rather than the fuller side. Because if your stomach is really full, a lot of your energy is going into digesting, and it can be uncomfortable to bend any direction.
Correct.
If you've got a really full stomach. So, but I don't think that means you have to have 8 hours before.
Correct. In between the word, I like
time.
that one, yeah.
I mean, somewhere in the middle of it. I don't do yoga right before a meal. I don't, that would be uncomfortable.
And before you go sleep and right before that, don't do that.
There's certainly different schools of thought about right before you sleep. I mean, some people think it's a really bad time to meditate or do yoga. I mean, I think that I don't know the definitive answer. What do you think?
I've actually heard many different ideas on that. I've heard some thoughts that meditation will slow down the digestion. I really think anything in moderation. Don't create any rules that really stops or makes it hard for you to do the practice. I think we can find tons of excuses not to do something, so let's try not to let it be that. But what's actually interesting with mindfulness meditation, there is mindfulness of eating. And so you are actually meditating while you eat because you're focusing on the sensations, the textures, the taste, all of those things, how beautiful your plate of food is with all the colors. And so, I think that's a good point in that you can actually eat while you meditate as long as you're doing so mindfully and without judgment and with open acceptance.
You sure have to pay it. You can pay a different attention to the way that you eat, and that will affect your health in a myriad of ways.
And that will also... that gimmick of dieting, you can, put aside that, you enjoy that one bite and you will feel that, oh, I'm full now, So that is, very good tip on that. One more thing about that, when you like to do yoga in a group or you would like to do individually, as we say IP, individual practice, how you like to do that?
I find either way enjoyable and very different experiences. I think I like the solitude sometimes of being on my own and just really developing that practice for myself, and because I don't often have a group, but when I do have a group, and I have more recently started practicing with a group of people, there's a certain amount of energy that I sense and I feel when working with a group of people, and I find that either way is equally beneficial.
So wherever you can do, please do yoga, do meditation, and try to learn those things. And if you have any questions, either you can call me, 847-524-7496, or you can call Sarah Rose. She will give you her number.
If you would like to contact me and find out more about mindfulness meditation, what you can do is get a hold of the number for the Hoffman Estates Health and Human Services Department. Through there, they will contact you with me if you are interested in mindfulness meditation and the therapeutic benefit of that.
And actually, I can give you a contact that would be a wonderful contact. I would call Optimum Health, which is in Elgin. My teacher, that's her yoga studio, and she has lots and lots of resources for individual classes.
She's very nice.
She's very nice. She's wonderful.
Thank you so much for watching us, and I would like to see you at June 14th, our Flag Day celebration, where Secretary of State, Mr. White, is coming, and music and food and lots of fun. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.